Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching now the Storm E.B.T Chandra Open 2013 live. The final from Nieuwegein in the Netherlands. And we got 12 players left in this final. It's a 6-game final. And the scores from the final before were forwarded to this final. In this final we got Richie Thies, England, Jimmy Raves, Belgium, Mark Jacobs, Netherlands, Michael Cousins, Belgium, Tennis Spacey, USA, Mika Koviniemi, Finland, Jeffrey van der Wakker, the Netherlands, Nico Tiempont, the Netherlands, Tom Barrett, England, Mats Maggi, Belgium, Alex de Vries, the Netherlands, and Stu Williams from England. And next to me is Paul Moore from England, one of the top players in this tournament. Well, welcome, Paul.
Hello.
How are you now?
Little better.
Yeah, you didn't make this final step.
No.
And but can you tell me a little bit something what happened with this pattern and how is this pattern and how to play?
For a lefty point of view, it was difficult. Didn't really have a good look all weekend. My best reaction was strangely with urethane for the squad I qualified in early in the week on the Friday night. I didn't bowl Saturday and I came back this morning and didn't bowl too well the first game. Missed a couple of spares early on, and I knew the cut was going to be low, and it was difficult to get to try and string the strikes together, especially with the ball I was throwing, and trying to get the corner pins out especially. And I had a chance at the end. I just threw a bad shot in the 9th, big forward, and that was it really. I had a chance, didn't make the most of it.
So you tell us you play with the Storm Supernatural.
Yeah.
For the people who don't know, this is a hybrid urethane ball. And what surface you use? You use a dull surface?
I dulled it up with 500 at the start of the block, but as always with what happens with bowling balls, when the more you use them, the more they shine up, and with urethane especially, it doesn't absorb the oil, so the oil stays on the ball and it just shines up every time you use it. Every time I throw the ball in practice, the first shot it hooks a load, and then the second shot hooks less, and then the third shot hooks less than that, and it's difficult to keep the ball, at a surface that you try and prepare it at.
Yeah.
And seeing as you can't change the surface during the block, unlike the World Championships, it's difficult to. I mean, that's not an excuse. I mean, I had my best game in qualifying, 250 at the end in Game 6.
Yeah.
So I still had a look with it. I just didn't have a great look today.
Well, you say you use this ball, but if you pick up stronger balls, that didn't work for you?
They were just too over. Even the balls that I brought with me that I felt were smooth just seemed to either go too long down the lane before they hooked, or just hooked too soon and too violently.
Yeah.
I couldn't get anything to read the back end. But
which bowling balls you bring?
I had an Oath, a Vow, Mass Eruption. I mean, the Mass Eruption for me has been a great ball recently. I've used it. I used it in Madrid when I won the E.B.T tournament there. I've used it most places because I've used a lot. I've had a lot of games with it, so it's kind of mellowed down a bit. I also had the Supernatural, of course. That was my spare ball originally. Turned out to be the ball I used to qualify. And I had a Mystic Aura that I drilled up recently, but that was a little too strong. And a Lights Out, which I didn't really throw, to be honest. And when all my smooth stuff is kind of under over, you kind of I don't really, a Lights Out is quite, it's cleaner through the front and it hooked more down lane. So it didn't appear to me to be the right ball. It might have been. I don't know. In hindsight, it's a wonderful thing. So
yeah. So for you, it was a one-ball tournament.
Yeah, well, I was using my mass eruption for spares.
Ah, okay.
Because I didn't want to use my supernatural too much, so it would got too much oil, you know, it would shine up as quick as it did. I felt like Oscu, you know, using a urethane to start with, and then using a reactive ball for spares.
Yeah.
It sounds backwards, but you know, it worked for me at some points.
Well, you see any differences in the lanes, in the friction, and let's say you play in Friday, and then you play today. What you see the difference between today and Friday? Was there a big difference for you on the left side?
Pair to pair, they were different. When I qualified, there didn't seem to be as much difference when I moved from one lane to the next. I had to make slight changes, but not as much as I had to make today. I didn't really know if I should have moved left or move right, and I started further right the first game, moved left towards the end of the game. Second game, I started left and it was hooking too much, so I had to move right again. And in both those games, I managed to recover for a 190, you know, 191, 190, and then I went to the other end, the high end of the house. Had to move left again, and then the last game I moved right again. So it was different to qualifying in terms of the moves were as predictable.
Yeah. Okay, we got a lot of viewers, more than 250 I think at this moment. Thank you that you're watching our live stream on Dutch Bowling TV. Well, do we got some questions in the chat room maybe? Maybe you got some questions for Paul Moore? You can ask.
Any questions?
Any questions, yes.
As long as it's about bowling.
How's your schedule for the next week, Paul?
Very busy. I go to Bratislava next week. I stay over there to go drive back to Vienna, because we have Bratislava and the E.B.T Masters on the Monday, and then I'll drive to Vienna for the tournament there Tuesday, Wednesday, try and qualify early. Following week, what's that? What weekend is that? You know, I get.
You need your notebook.
I'm away every week. I can't remember. It's
so much.
I've got it here somewhere. Let's see. Oh, German League.
I play also in the German League.
I bowl German League for Final Castle, who.
Okay.
It's we have a good team. David Kennedy, Timo Schroeder, who was here.
Yeah.
Christian Rakpan, Bodo Koselny. He won the silver in the singles at the World Championships recently. So he's bowling well. Pascal Winterheimer. We have a lot of good bowlers, so it's a good league to bowling as well. It's a classic 5-man team, round-robin format.
Yeah, it's almost the same as we got in Holland.
Yeah.
In Holland we call it National League. It's a 5-man competition, and this year we changed some small things. So in Holland normally it was where you got a total score of the team was against the total score of the other team, and this year it's also player 1 play against number 1 for 1 point, and the team total will make 5 points, so you can deserve 10 points.
So like a Peterson system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Dom and Stu have played the Dutch League in the past as well. For
Dom
team.
played the 5-man, Stu played the 5-man before. And some players from here, Mark Jacobs, he's in my team. He's playing 5-man. Nico Tiempomp, who is in this final, playing 5-man. Jeffrey van der Wakker is in that 5-man. Alex de Vries also. And the other players are Michael Cousins is also playing in the 5-man.
How many German guys play in the league?
The German guys play in my team, and Birgit Puppler play for Tilburg. It was in the last year. In my team is Dirk Dreyer. and Michael Kramer. Oh no, sorry, Kramer not. Michael Holsaffel.
Does Lee still bowl for you?
Yeah, Lee is still in our team.
Lee Cocker for viewers at home.
Next year also we welcome Chris Sloan in our team. So we have a bit much more younger guys, I think, in the new season. Well, let's take a look around, see what's happened on the lanes here. And a very good start, Dom Barrett, front 7 on this future pair of lanes where we're right now with the camera. You get front 7, it's the best start in this 6. And he's now on 1033 at this moment.
Yep, good start for Dom. He's pulling the pins back, certainly.
And he's playing with the Storm Frantic, I see from here.
Very angular ball, Frantic. Very, maybe they haven't dressed the lane since the final step 2. That ball will come into play a lot more than.
Yeah. There we go, front 8.
Yep,
yeah,
10
perfect
back.
shot. Front 8, Dom Barrett. So possibly after our 299 from Jimmy Rivers here, we get our first 300 of the tournament.
We're just looking at the questions here on the
yeah, you got some questions.
Try and get them. Try and work the computer.
There is something I'll ask you.
Yeah. Is it Tycoon 7? No. God. Tycoon 75. Where is it? Can I increase this size?
Yeah. Mouse.
There we go. He's asking what happened with my form. Haven't seen or heard of many good results as before. Is there a form problem with myself, or are there other reasons why we don't see him as much? I'm still bowling all the events. It's a form thing as well, and you know the patterns have changed a lot. When I won the rankings, 2004, 5 and 6, the patterns were different. They were more symmetrical, and they've changed to asymmetrical patterns. And that's not a problem I have as such. You know, they do what they can to make it fair, and I think certain events, from my point of view, especially here, it's kind of gone the other way. Oh, Dom's just 10 pin there, so he's off the 300, but he can still shoot 279. This was difficult as a lefty. There wasn't a great shot on the left side. For me to say that as a lefty, and you know, people might think otherwise, but that's just my opinion. I watched Gary bowl 2 squads on the Saturday, and he struggled a lot. And Gary normally finds a way to qualify everywhere he bowls, whether it be early squads, Desperado.
Yeah.
And he walked out the door before even Desperado started, so that kind of, you know, said something to me. But from my own point of view, you know, I'm not bowling as well as. Confidence is a big thing for myself. If I get a couple of good results, the confidence is up. You just kind of doubt yourself when you start not doing as well, sort of here, and missing cuts, missing more cuts than I have done in the year. Really, that's it. Really, I mean, I could say.
So you tell the patterns are changed. Yeah.
They changed a bit. I mean, but everything. I think everything's changed. The bowl technology has changed every time. The
type of oil, of course.
different oil. It's everything's changing all the time, so it's just one of those things where I'm not matching up well to the patterns, and I have to do something to make it better, whether it be, you know, changing my style or changing what equipment I take with me. I'm still trying to find that out.
Yeah.
But it is frustrating because I don't feel I'm bowling really bad.
You're sponsored by a company in this moment?
No, everything I do, I pay for myself.
Okay.
So it's even more difficult when you come here and you invest your money in. You know, it's 1,000. You know, in general, you're looking at €1,000 each trip, and you want to make that back in prize money.
Yeah.
Events like this, it's difficult. Well, events like this don't cost as much because it's a lot. You know, the flights were cheap and the entry fees I didn't pay as much. So, but I still lost money because it was the prize fund wasn't as high as a lot of the other big major events.
Yeah.
So, but in general, you're looking at maybe €1,000 for each event. So you have to look at. From my point of view, this is what I do for a living, and there's only 3 of us in the UK that bowl full time. You know, well, if you count Stu as UK, he's living in the States more in Arizona a lot of the time. So myself and Dom and Stu, there's only 3 of us that bowl full time, and maybe a lot the same in most countries. You know, it's not really a full professional sport. Yeah, but I treat it as it's my job.
Okay.
So I have to look at the financial benefits and rather than.
Yeah. Well, you're also gonna play in a PBA again this year?
I'm bowling the World Series, yes.
You bowl the World. When is it? The World Series?
I fly out on the 23rd of October.
Yeah.
I'm there for about 12 days. They have the 4 animal pattern events.
Yeah.
World Championships for the top. I think it's 1 in 4 make the cut. They have a couple of regionals as well, member, non-member doubles, and a singles regional towards the end of the week. So it's bowling almost every day.
Yeah.
There's some big scores out there.
Dom Barrett,
260?
Yeah, 268.
268.
He's on 1112. Sorry, 1121. Mats Maggi is now on 1028. And yeah, the other players still in the running, and the sums are finished, but the scores are moved from the screens.
You know what Richie shot?
No, I didn't see it.
The scores have gone off the screen now, so
yeah,
I can't see it.
I will get the score updates in a moment after game 1 for sure.
Mika's struggling to string some strikes together.
Yeah.
He's only on 2-0 pace at the moment, bowling right in front of us. Strike there in the 9th, sets up potential 226 if he strikes out in the 10th.
And double strike Mark Jacobs at this moment. He's now on 1109. He can make 1119. That's 2 pins behind Dom.
He was second after the first 4 games.
No, first. First.
Was he
first or I don't know.
Richie was first, I think.
Okay,
I think Mark
okay.
was second or third.
Well, at this moment, what we know right now, it's that Richie got 11-13, I see. Yeah, I see from there. And yeah, 11-17 Mark Jacobs, 11-13 Mats. No, it's 11-30 Rich Tees, 11-21 Dom Barrett.
On the desk, beside your bottle of water.
I think those are the best 3. Well, 10th frame. Mika's now 1059, double strike, and first strike in the 10th.
226 is still,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
potentially
score.
still a solid start. No opens at all there. Tanner strikes in the 10th.
Well, spares here is very important on this pattern. Very, very important.
Yeah.
You saw this morning in the final steps. It was so close.
It was. In the last game, there was so many people around the cut line. Myself, I had the first game.
Yeah.
You know, you think, you look back at these open frames. I had the 3-5-6 spare. I missed it twice in the first 3 frames.
Yeah.
You know, that's 20 plus pins easily. You know, these spares for me, I would expect to spare my sleep, and to miss it twice the same way as well. So I put the 3 pin in front of the 6, which was frustrating because I made an adjustment off the first one, so I wouldn't, you know, try and get aligned right. I just did the same thing. Strike for Mika.
226, 1089.
A good finish.
Yep. Well, this question: are you not sponsored by one ball brand?
I say I'm just independent, so I can throw any ball I wish. Another question was what ball weight I use, and what would you suggest as heavy as possible. Most of the guys out here would probably throw a 15-pound. That's the general weight people use now. I know Stu throws 16-pound. I'm not sure what Dom went to 16-pound recently.
Yeah, he went to 16. Stu told us.
So he went to 16. Then he had his accident in the Middle East, and then when he had to have a rest, so he came back to 15. He went back to 16 again. I don't know if he's still on 16, but one of them. So in general, 15-pound would probably be, you know, the best weight for most bowlers. There's a lot of guys on tour in the PBA use 16-pound. Chris Barnes, I know, uses 16. I know. I heard Stu has a theory on about that in terms of how high your backswing is. If you have a lower backswing, then 16-pound is better, and then the higher the backswing you are, if you have a big backswing like someone like Dom, then 15-pound. That's
okay. Well, we have got the score updates now, and we have the total scores. So, okay, first place at this moment, Dom Barrett, 1121. 1 pin behind, Jeffrey van der Wakker, the Netherlands, 1120. On third position, Mark Jacobs, 1117. Richie Tees, England, 1113, fourth position. Jimmy Raves, Belgium, 1094. Mika Kovaniemi from Finland, he's on 1089. Tanner Spacey, 1076. Michael Cousins, 1061. Alex de Vries, 1059. Stu Williams, 1046. Nico Tiempont, 1032. And Mats Maggi on 12th position, 1028.
So the 2 guys in the top have made big moves in the first game. Dominic and Jeffrey.
Yeah.
268, 256 respectively. Mark Jacobs with a solid 211 to be 4 pins off Dom.
Well, okay, you talk about 16 pounds, but are there also guys on tour who play 14 pounds?
Not to my knowledge. I don't really go around picking other people's balls up and weighing. But I would expect everyone to be 15 pound. Not everyone, of course, the majority. So for yourself, were you happy with your performance this week?
Yeah, it was okay. I was a little bit disappointed and make the final by the 6 games. So I was just out only on 1 spare or something. I throw 12.59 and I got an open frame in my 9th frame. Otherwise I can shoot out for 250 and I had 1300. That was the difference.
Yeah.
But okay, then by Desperado. My Desperado was really bad, but it scores.
That's bowling.
Yeah. It was so bad performance.
You get the luck.
Turn and turn and, you know. I got the luck, yeah. Yesterday, really, I got the luck. I think it was the luck back from what I lost a little bit in the series.
You had the luck all day, though. You had the you predicted the right cut line. 69 over, was it? 69?
Yeah, also with the cut pot. Yeah, the cut off pot.
So you won the pot for that, and then
it was happy.
Straight after you qualified Desperado.
Yeah, it was a free Desperado for me, and then I qualify.
You had a good start today, though.
Today I start very well in the first game. A lot of people tell me you was really focused on my first game. I was, and I picked a good ball. I picked the IQ2 Pearl, the golden ball. And yeah, when I picked that ball, I shoot very well. And in the 10th frame only I get a split, and I throw 222. But that should have been my big game. And then behind I move left and throw on 3-4 160 and 1-2 160. The happy lane pair 1-2. Everybody has fun with it, I see.
When I bowled 1 and 2 this morning, and I struggled, but I was 190 and I was low man by about 40 pins.
That's a great
40,
game
50
there.
Pins. The guy that I bowled with had 240, and
wow.
Johan Alex had about 250.
Yeah, he shot high on the pair. I saw,
Johnny Spill had about the same.
Yeah.
So everyone was, taking that pair to shreds apart from me. I managed to grind out a 190 game.
Well, on a future pair of lens on the cams right now, the boat from Holland, Alex de Vries and Nico Tienpont. And on the other cameras, we've got Michael Cousins, Jeffrey van der Wakker. And we got Stu Williams and Mark Jacobs. And Mark Jacobs got a 3-bagger now. He's now on 12.22. Well, Paul, what's Dom doing now?
Dom?
Yeah.
Strike 9 spare, 9 spare to start. Early days yet. What lane is Jeffrey on?
Jeffrey's on 7 and 8 here.
Oh, he's in front of
right in front of our cam now.
My eyesight's not too good.
Well, here we got Michael Cousins. I think he's the one who played the most straight of all these players in the final.
Yeah. As you said before, he's probably got the least rev rate of all the guys out here.
Yeah.
Could be an advantage later on if he's.
It could be.
If he can stay further right than everyone. But you never know how these lanes are going to break down.
No.
Dom with a high 6-pin. Would be another 9 spare, I imagine. Mika struggling though, 9 spare, 8-1, 8-1, back-to-back splits to start. Do they have live scoring here, or do we just?
No, we don't have live scoring here.
No.
We are the live scoring. We got to tell what the scores are.
Oh, I can't see from here. I can't see 13 and 14 so good.
Yeah, that's far away from
Richie and Mats are on on that lane.
The other lanes we can tell you. So if you want to know some scores, but we try to update you as much as possible, of course. Here, Mark Jacobs. He's now on 12.48. He's in frame 7 with a spare. Yeah, and there is a strike in the 8th frame. Mark can shoot 231 if he strikes out this game. Okay, Mika and Dom. Now we can see from here, Mika is on 1134 with a spare, with a strike in the 4th. And Dom is on 1189 with a spare in the 4th.
Mika just doubled. So he's trying to pull back the pins he's lost in the first 3 frames. Double for Jeffrey after a bad frame 4, a 5 split 4 in frame 4, but he's got that back with a double. So he's pacing 190 at the moment. Four bagger for Jimmy. Spare 4 in a row for Jimmy Revez. Another strike for Dom. So he's finally doubled.
Well, Mark Jacobs finished on 176. He's on 1293.
176.
Yeah.
Ooh. That
2 opens. Stu Williams, 10 pin, and he finished on 188. He's on 1234.
They didn't waste any time on 3 and 4.
Yep.
They've finished in 5 and 6 are almost 5 frames behind them. Almost everyone's about 2 or 3 frames behind.
Maybe that's why they are quick players, you know. They don't take too much time.
I'm not keen on finishing a lot earlier because then you have to wait around and you're only as fast as the slowest bowler.
Yeah.
Having to wait around and you get a little cold, and then your first shot the next game might be you don't throw it as good as you'd hope.
Yeah.
Been a while since I've seen Nico bowl.
Yeah. Well, I play a lot of tournaments in Holland.
Yeah. Good to see him back though. Hasn't changed much since I last saw him.
And he played only 1 squad.
Yeah, that's always good.
He was placed by the early birds.
Did he make it through the cut or through the early birds?
12:31 early bird.
12:31. So he's doing pretty well to be here now.
Yeah, he made last 12.
Yeah.
So that's good. Okay, Alex de Vries is on 12.47 on these pair of lanes.
Michael Cousins rolled the 2-7 there for a strike. Went a little light.
Here, Dennis Pacey from the USA.
He's in front of the ball return now.
Wow, he's way deep on the lane.
Yeah, he was there in qualifying later on.
I see on 7 and 8 on the latest game here. It was yesterday.
Yeah. Nine and 10 look a little tricky at the moment.
Yeah.
Dom's he's struggling to string strikes. He threw a good shot there, but left a ring 10. Spares it. Mika's just left the 2-5. And only on a 180 pace as well. Going into the, if he spares this, going into the 9th.
Good shot for Michael Cousins from Belgium.
Gets the double. Four in a row for Tanner Spacey there. He can strike out for 240 plus.
Here we see the replay of Michael. Yeah, it's a good shot.
Flush shot, 10 back. Oh, bad shot by
Jeffrey.
Missed, completely missed the 3-6.
Okay, here we see Tanner. He's standing before the ball return. No.
A little bit too wide. Always has that quick pace. It's never going to come back from that distance. Another 10 pin for Mika. That pair doesn't look so good. 9 and 10 at the moment.
Well, Paul, I've got a question. Are you played the Weber Cup this year?
No, unfortunately not. I wasn't in the team last year. I've had good results and a good record in the Weber Cup, but my record everywhere else hasn't been. Ooh, flush 8 for Dom. That's bad luck, that is. I just haven't bowled well enough away from Weber Cup in Europe and abroad to justify my place, you know. And they have a good team this year. Oscar's out this year and Martin's coming in, Martin Larson.
Okay.
So hopefully, you know, they can stop the rot. 3 years in a row that Team America have won, so the format is quite, you know, it's short for each. It's one game roll off, so anything can happen. But I've had pretty good memories of the Weber Cup. Probably 1 year I've not done myself justice, but the rest of the years I've bowled pretty well. I've shot 300 against Jason Couch. I've won the last point twice, so it's been, I can't complain. And any time that bowling's on television like that, it's good to get it on TV for the exposure. And it was live for a couple of years on British TV as well, so it was a lot better rather than having it being tape delayed.
But now it isn't live anymore, eh?
Not really, no. Maybe the majors on the PBA Tour are live, but they're the only events. You of course have the live stream here, but it's different,
I think we got a deal only with live streaming.
Yeah, live streaming is, I think it's the way forward. PBA extra frame is good because you get to see most of the bowlers during qualifying. And you get to learn a lot by the people who are commentating as well. They have a lot of the PBA guys commentating.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot just by listening, not just by watching, but by listening as well.
Yeah. Yeah, yesterday we also got Mika Konvinyemi here in the commentary. It was very interesting to do an interview with him. And he tell the way how he comes up. He tell us all about it, what to do for it, how much time he spent in it. It was very interesting to listen to it.
Yeah, I'm sure Mika's had an interesting bowling career.
Yeah, some people think, if you think, what do you think about it? Some people think, yeah, okay, we play twice league in a week and then in a weekend we can win a tournament. That's the thinking, I think. That's the wrong thinking, isn't it? What did you do for practicing, Let's say when you're in your good years, what did you do?
I would go in practice during the week, and if I had a tournament the week before, I would go in a little, more to... I'm not a big practice guy, a lot of the stuff I do, I don't get the opportunity to bowl on the patterns that we have here as much as I do at home, because the facilities I have whereabouts I live in the country, in England, is not as good as other parts of the country or other parts of Europe. So
yeah,
it's all good to keep your arm loose and to throw shots, but when you're not bowling on these patterns week in, week out, it's difficult to keep to keep fresh and to keep good on these patterns. I hadn't in August. There was no tournaments I bowled in. I had just bowled practice at the centres where I bowl it, and the patterns were just league patterns. So coming here was kind of a shock to the system when I hadn't bowled on these patterns for a month, and that contributed to the fact that I had such a low score in my first entry. And but I try, so
this is also a practice for you in these qualification rounds in this like this E.B.T.
I would always say that my first entry is always practice, and if I make it in the first entry, that's a bonus.
Okay.
I would hope to make it in at least 3 entries. But when you come here, and because it's a re-entry event, everyone has more than one chance to make it. The first entry is always just trying to feel the lanes and seeing what ball matches up best to the condition.
Yeah.
And then if it so happens that you find something straight away, that's great. If you don't really think, I'm not going to make it. That's the wrong attitude to have in re-entry events. You think if you've got the opportunity to re-enter, and if you think after 3 games of the first entry you're not going to make it, just pick up a ball and throw it, a different ball, and see what different luck you have.
Yeah.
Don't try and strike every time and persist with the same ball when you've got 2 or 3 balls in your bag that you don't want to use, you don't think might work. And you can always change surface as well.
Yeah.
It's a complete.
Is that what you do any time? Changing surface of a ball?
It's very important sometimes. I mean, you can make a ball. You can make a ball react completely differently just by going from a polished surface to a dull, or vice versa, and it kind of it changes the ball reaction completely. So ball surface management is quite important nowadays with the with the tournaments you bowl at and the lane surfaces you have to bowl on.
Yeah, but it's only allowed before our series starts, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, because you can essentially bring as many balls as you want to these tournaments. And in the World Championships, because they're limited to six balls, you can change every game. So you can, if you're using a ball that you're using as pretty dull, and you want to keep it dull, then after every game you can dull it down again, because balls do shine up quite quickly these days. So trying to keep them at the right surface is important, especially when it's a dull surface.
Well, what do you do when you got a dull ball and you want to polish it before and you have no pro shop? You can do it by hand. How you do it?
Not as good as
something special to shine it up a little bit more,
If you had a ball spinner, it would be a lot easier to do.
But without is also possible.
It is, but you've probably got to give it, 2 or 3 times with polish, just to make some kind of difference. Going from shiny to dull is easy because you have the Abrolon pads and sandpaper, whatever people use. But going from dull to shiny is, if you got a 500 pad, 500 grit ball and you want to shine it up during practice, you've got to go to the pro shop and put polish on, and that takes 3 or 4 minutes, and you've wasted 3 or 4 minutes time, 3 or 4 minutes of practice there. So when I set my equipment up to come to tournaments, I always go on the shinier side, so it's a lot easier to dull down.
Yeah. Well, you tell us, you start your first entry for practicing. Okay, and then can you tell the people at home what are you doing for reading the lanes and what to do, and something about that, that you know what you're going to do your second squash, that you do it very well. What are you doing? You make a notice of how the lanes react, every lane?
For me, I mean, the game is a lot different on the left side to the right side. The patterns break down so much differently on the left to the right. We're essentially bowling on fresh patterns every time.
Yeah.
If the pattern's short, then everyone stays further away from each other. So I say on a flat pattern, we're bowling on fresh almost every game because the pattern plays so wide that the right-handers never get inside of us, or never move so far left that they start throwing the ball in our lay-down area. So it doesn't really change, doesn't really affect us. But I see what balls I take, throw the balls in practice and bowl and see what looks good and try and figure it. Every tournament's different. You can't, even when you look at the pattern, you can't predict how it's going to play.
No.
Because there's so many other factors that change that. The temperature, the topography of the lane, the friction of the lane. There's so many variables that it's impossible to control 100%. And think, well, this is a 39-foot pattern. It's quite wide. I've got to use this ball in this position. On a Brunswick surface to an AMF surface, it could be completely different.
Yeah.
And depends how old the surface is. There's just so many variables to consider that you can't really go into a tournament with a plan, I think, until you actually bowl 2 or 3 games.
Okay, when you look to the pattern before you go to the tournament, because that's where you look at, then what ball choices you make, if you get a long pattern, Of course, you bring some stronger balls, but you bring also some weaker balls, or it's better for a longer pattern to play with a weaker ball sometime?
Longer patterns, I'd say like 44 foot plus. I would try and use equipment that's going to back end more, you know, be a bit more motion down lane. So higher RG equipment.
Higher RG, not lower RG?
Lower RG I would use on, you know, for patterns where you need to smooth the reaction out.
Yeah.
So that would be on shorter patterns. But
okay.
Patterns where I'd play straighter.
So what you tell us is, if you pick, like, say, a Storm Nano, something like that, it's a really strong ball, but it's a low RG ball, you can use that also for a medium pattern to make it not so snappy. Or is that ball too strong?
I mean, I've thrown it. I didn't really get on with it, so it was it was. I just use it. It was just, I use it. The guide I go is by my own experiences. I mean, I tend to use balls that are back end more on longer patterns because, or hook later down the lane.
Yeah.
And I would try to use balls that are smoother when I'm playing a lot straighter. So something like an Oath for me, Columbia Oath, was an earlier, smoother ball. I would try and play straighter with that. It's not a ball that I would tend to move move right and try and hook it.
Yeah.
Whereas a Victory Road solid, for example, I've used on longer patterns to, you know, with good success. But talking about numbers and everything, it's difficult. You know, you can get a ball that has numbers that suggest you should play on this sort of pattern, but at the end of the day, it worked better on a different pattern. And for me, I've drilled balls in the past that I've thought have been good on one pattern and they haven't been so good.
Yeah. And
it's been counterintuitive to what I think and what actually works.
Yeah. Okay. While we're talking, we got a score update after 2 for you at home. Richie Tees is leading, 13.27. Dom Barrett second, 13.23. Dennis Spacey, 13.09. Mark Jacobs, 12.93. Jeffrey van der Wakker, 12.91. Jimmy Raves, 12.90. Alex de Vries, 12.83. Michael Cousins, 12.67. Mika Koviniemi, also 12.67. Stu Williams, 12.34. Nico Timpont, 12.33. And Mats Maki, 11.90. And still we are in frames, let's say frame 7 now. And the situation right now is Dennis Spacey is on 14.11. Mats is on 13.16. Stu Williams is on 14.03. Jeffrey 14.18. Jimmy Raves 14.21. Michael Cousins 13.74. Alex de Vries 14.41. Richie Tees 14.32. Mika is on 30.83. Mark Jacobs is on in the 1400s. It's far away from here. I think it's 14.06. And Dom Barrett is on 15.11. So Dom is in the lead at this moment. Yeah, he is in the lead.
Yeah, he can max out for 258, can Dom.
Yeah.
Jimmy is having a up and down game, really. All strikes, no spares, 3 opens. But he can still shoot. He can still shoot 221 with 3 opens in there.
And a double strike, Stu Williams, and he's now 4 in a row. So it seems Stu, he needs big games to come back.
He does, yeah. He needs a bit of help and a few big games.
That's a very deep line what Dominic plays. He plays, I think it was 6th arrow.
He can, Dom can seem to
play so deep, so easily.
Bring it back from a lot further out than a lot of other guys. You know, he can get the ball to recover a lot more.
Yeah. It's what the two-handers can do, he can do in one hand.
I wish I could do that.
See Dom Strong with the Storm lights out at this moment.
Maybe I should have used that.
Maybe, yeah.
It was in my bag. I never threw it though, I just
No.
didn't think it would work. Jimmy finally spares in the 10th. He can shoot 200 with a strike in the fill. A strike again for Dom. Didn't like it, but it was 10 anyway. 5 in a row for Stu. He can shoot a big game here. 260.
Well, here's the replay, Dom Barrett. You can see how deep he started on the lane. Playing outside and high flush.
You see the reaction. He was,
Yeah.
you know, he was fortunate to strike there, I think, given his reaction.
Oh.
9 pin for Stu. Solid 9.
Stu Williams is playing with the new Storm Rain on. Ooh, 10 pin for Dom.
He did like that one, and it was a ring 10. That's bowling for you. What does Matt have? Okay. He's on.
Mats' total score now is 1396.
What can
and
he shoot?
he can shoot, if he strike out, 266. Yeah, 266.
So that will push him up. He was way behind, but that would have put him on 150 over.
Yeah.
Would need a couple more of them, I think, to be in contention. Rather lucky spare for Michael. He chopped it with a pin, came back and took the 5 pin.
And Mika is doing very well on these pair of lanes where we are right now on 11 and 12. He starts with the spare and an open, and then he make 7 behind. So he can strike out for 266 also. So both of these players, Mika and Mats, can make a big move now.
Dom spares a 10 for 247 that game.
Yeah, total score 1570. And he will stay in the lead.
Oh, what's Richie shot? He's down there still.
Richie T's now 162 with a double in the 9th frame. He's on 1489 at this moment. Then Mika goes in the 10th frame, first ball. And that's 10 down. 8 in a row now. So now Richie T's first ball in the 10th. No. No strike. Well, Mats Maggi, he finished at 264 and his total score now is 1454. Alex de Vries finished 216 and total score 1499. Tennis Spacey finished 180, total score 1489. Spare for Mika. He make a game of 255 and finished now 1522 after 3 games of total of 6. Okay, we got a lane change. Waiting for the score updates. What I can see from here, Stu Williamson 1482, Alex de Vries 1499, Mats Maggi 1454, Don Barrett 1570, Jeffrey van der Wakker 1502, Nico Tienpont 1405, Richie Tees 1527, Jimmy Raves 1490, Mark Jacobs 1474, Michael Cousins 1455, Mika is on 1522 and Tennis Spacey 1489. So that's the situation now. And here the leader, Don Barrett. Yes, and here we got the score updates. At first, as I told you, Don Barrett, 1570, followed by Richie Tees from England, 1527. Mika is on 3rd place, 1522. Jeffrey van der Wakker, the first Dutchman, on 4th position, 1502. And followed up by the other Dutchman, Alex de Vries, 1499. Jimmy Raves is now 6 from Belgium, 1490. Tennis Spacey on 7, 1489. Stu is 8th position, 1482. Mark Jacobs with 1474 on 9th position. Michael Cousins is on 10, 1455. Mats Maggi 1454 and Nico Tienport 1405 on 12th place. Still 3 games to go. And then we know who will be the new winner of Chandra Open 2013, the Storm Chandra Open 2013.
So Dom has pulled away a little bit. He's now 43 ahead of Richie.
Yeah.
Who is 5 ahead of Mika. And a 20 pin gap to Jeffrey van der Wakker.
Yeah, van der Wakker, you say it right.
Wakker, is it?
Wakker, yeah.
Wakker, yes. I get my Dutch pronunciation right.
Yeah, you got the. You can tell the Dutch names.
I've heard them before, so I just repeat what you say.
It was funny yesterday. We get the question about Reese. What do you think about the Dutch stroopwafels? You know them, eh? Isn't it?
The
round things,
the
cookies.
Well, I fly with KLM quite a lot, and they serve them sometimes on the flight, so they're quite nice. I like the thin waffles with caramel. They're good.
That's really typical Dutch product. Okay, maybe we got some new questions in the chat. Paul, how many 300 games you have bowled?
Ooh, tricky question.
Let's say officially.
Officially, 26, 27, I think. I don't bowl league that much, so I don't bowl that many 300s nowadays. Tournaments, it's not so easy, but yeah, 26, 27. I have a Wikipedia page, it's on there. I don't know, my brother updates it sometimes.
Yeah.
So you can probably find out all the details there.
Maybe some new questions I see. So if you got questions, ask them in the chat. Paul will answer.
I'll do my best. Is that Dutch? There? How would you say that? Skivlat?
Shivalat.
Shivlat. Asking you, do I throw radical bowling balls? I've never thrown a radical ball actually. I have looked at them, but I know they have the Reacts and the React Pearl and the Torrid Elite. I've never actually thrown them. They're made by Brunswick, so never had chance. I will probably throw some in the future. There's so many balls come out now, you just don't know. Being able to throw whatever I want, it's difficult to see. If I get one ball from one company, will it be the same as this ball?
Yeah.
I know the Brunswick equipment tends to be a bit earlier and smoother. I know they've tried to go away from that, especially with the DV8 equipment. They've tried to be more balls at back end a lot more. I still think, my own opinion is that the Storm balls still are stronger down lane. They're cleaner through the front. I really think the balls that Brunswick were making in the past, the earlier smooth stuff was really good for me sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, the Sieges, the original Siege, they were good balls for me. A lot of the stuff they make now, they try and make it so it's stronger down lane, and I think I would prefer them to go back to what they were doing before.
Yeah.
Because it's a different reaction to what most equipment does. When you look at the World Championships, they had the website with all the statistics on the bowling balls and what everyone registered. And Storm dominated the
World Championships there.
The ball list.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't necessarily mean they're making the best stuff, but they're making the most popular stuff.
Yeah.
So that kind of tells half the story.
Well, Paul, who do you think was going to win?
At the moment,
yeah,
Dom's looking good.
You think he's going to win?
If he's the front runner now.
Yeah.
Someone's stolen my score sheet though, so I can't see. Oh, it's Miles. There you are. There you go. Yeah, Dom has. You know what I said before. Dom has got a 43 pin lead now, and he's 260, 240. You know, I had a 200, 202 in there, but Dom. You know, Dom's the one who can really get the ball to recover a lot more than other guys.
Yeah.
He had the front three this game, but has he opened the fourth? Was that a 9 miss?
Yeah, it's a miss. Yeah,
he missed a correction. Was it?
Yeah, it's a miss. Yeah, it's a correction miss.
The ball might have jumped out the gutter and spared it. That's why it's a correction. Stu started well this game. 4 in a row. Slight blip in the 5th, 8-1, but strikes in the 6th. Alex de Vries on the same pair as Stu. Strike, spare, double, open, strike.
You get the replay of Stu. Why are you playing at? 5th arrow.
Pretty deep.
Yeah. Very nice shot.
I think most people will be in that area now. Richie Teese, 7-2 first frame, but double spare strike. He's pacing 190. Stu another strike, so he's back on 220 pace.
niet opgepakt. Maar één oplossing voor. Dat gebeurde in de finale serie. Vond hij heel vervelend, 2 keer niet op staan. We weten wat het is, maar 8 minuten is niet voldoende tijd om te repareren. Dus nu zit onze monteur de hele tijd achter de baan leuken. Ik hoef het niet eens meer te roepen.
Good shot.
Another strike for Dom. If I was a betting man, I would bet on Dom at the moment. Not that I'd get much money back off it. But, I would say he's the favourite now. Before this game, it was pretty close for the top 3. There's a little gap now. Another strike for Stu. 4 in a row open Turkey. We don't have the sound effects though now from Selwyn.
That's so funny with him this morning. Our turkey hunter.
Yep.
Let's see Mats Maggie playing with the racket.
4 in a row.
Yeah.
A lot of strikes on that pair. No spares though. 2 opens and the rest strikes. What?
Here's a replay of Mats. See where he's playing. Also deep, 5th arrow. And the high flush.
Ooh, 210 for Dom. A little bit wide, it just didn't recover.
Come on, nou is die van jou, hè? Zo.
Hij is al om, dan op.
Laat hem alleen maar terug of gaan we even staan.
Failed to convert the spare, so another open for Dom. He's back to 2-0 pace.
Okay, come up.
Second place, Richie Teese is he's on 180 pace at the moment in the 7th. Open, double, spare, strike, open, spare.
Yeah.
Mika is down on the far end. I can't see what he's shooting at the moment.
Oh.
Ring 9 pin for Stu in the 10th there. Very unlucky.
There's the replay. Stu trying to play 7th arrow. Very deep.
Couple of questions in the stream. Tycoon75 asking, do you choose the balls you drill by looking at the specs or also the type of weight block they have? Bit of both really. depending on the strength of the weight block. And for tournaments like this, when I bring 6 balls, I'll try and bring as much of a range as I can. Balls that have weaker cores, weaker cover stocks, specs as well. You look at balls that are earlier, rev a bit earlier, like the low RG balls. But you also have to look at the pattern and see where you have to play. But maybe here was a bit confusing because the pattern wasn't so short, but it played drier than what I expected here.
Yeah.
So that's probably where I fell down. And
yeah, they say it was 26 milliliter total volume of oil.
That's on the higher side for me. You would on average you're looking at 22, 3, 4. 26 is high. I mean, I've bowled on patterns that have on the sheet has been say in Istanbul. The old, when they had the old HPL, they had 32 mils and it still played. It still hooked a lot. Yeah. And that's just because of the friction of the lane. It was such a high friction surface.
But here you didn't expect so much friction.
Well, I didn't know because I couldn't remember so much from last year. It hooked a bit last year. I couldn't remember the pattern entirely from last year, but I kind of brought balls that I was used to. Well, maybe I should have brought a bigger range.
Yeah.
With equipment, something weaker. But that's how it works. It's all guesses to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Because in a year, lane surfaces can change so much.
Yeah.
Another question asking how Richie's ball reaction was looking, if he can catch Dom. Not looking great at the moment, but he's not having a bad game. Well, he can strike out for 190. Dom's going to have 230 odd if he strikes out. And Richie just looks like he's struggling to get the ball back into the pocket. I said Dom's getting the light hits, Richie isn't. There is probably going to be a bigger gap at the end of this game from first to second. Dom's on. He's going to be about 200 over. 200 and a bit over for the 8 games. Richie strikes there, so he can have he can strike out for 190 plus, but he's still going to be losing a lot of ground on Dom.
Almost finished the 4th game.
Another strike for Dom. Light hit. Kicks out the 5 and the 10. 5 and the 7, sorry. I'm thinking like a lefty. Another strike for Richie, so that's a double in the 10th. He can get to 190.
How's Mika doing?
I can't see.
It's
Your eye's better than mine.
Yeah, maybe 220, I think. 223 you can shoot.
So he's probably going to go to second now.
Yeah.
Drop Richie down to third. Did you bowl those tournaments in Romania?
I bowl one of them. It's only in the same bowling center. It's the Elcomex Open. It's 6 stops. Yeah. It's exactly in the same bowling center, but the only thing that they do is change the pattern. Yeah. The format is anytime the same. It's very nice to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will go back in October. I think it's October 27th. In Holland there's nothing about sports then, so I can play there. Yeah, it was. It's funny. The people there are very friendly also, and yeah, it's a good tournament. And the prize money is okay, but you got to make top 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finished 9th, so 1 place behind.
Oh, I know how that feels.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of times where I've been
me too.
first,
a lot of
first
times.
man out.
Yeah,
It's especially when you look back and you think,
it was.
you know, if I'd have taken 2 instead of 1 on that split.
No, it was my last shot. I have to play a double in a tent, and it was a lane. Exactly the lane where I was struggling because a lot of breakdown. So I have to move deeper for sure, and more the hand behind the ball, and trying to do not beside. And then I play. It was a perfect ball. I got a 10 pin. High flush 10 pin. Yeah, okay. And in that case, yeah.
Brooklyn start for Stu there. He looks happy.
Yeah. No, but Romania is a good tournament to go.
Yeah, they have a tournament later in the year.
Yeah, the IDM Bucharest Open, I think. Yeah,
that gets.
Yeah.
Well, what I've heard
they tell me. Yeah.
You know, they do a lot for the bowlers there.
Yeah, we have the score updates. You can do it this time.
Yep. Dominic Barrett is still in the lead with 1803. Mika Koivuniemi second on 1755. Stewart has shot up last 2 games. He's had 482 the last 2 games to go up to third. He's now 1713. Sorry, 1716. Jeffrey van der Wacker, 210 last game for 1712. Richie Teese. Oh, it was only 179. My apologies. I thought he had more than that. He's on 1706 now. Tanner Spacey, 202 last game for 1693. Michael Cousins, 230 to go up to 1685. Mark Jacobs in 8th place, 207 for 1681. Alex de Vries on the same score, 1681. Jimmy Ravez, 1675 in 10th. Maps Maggie, 1666 in 11th. And bringing up the rear, Nico Teampont, 1581. So still pretty much all to play for, really. I mean, there's there's top 2 would, you know, Mika and Dom are still top 2 favourites. There's a little gap, but 2 games anything can happen. Someone gets on a good pair and has a big 260s, 270, or Mika or Dom gets on a bad pair and has 180. You know,
Stu is 87 pins behind,
Yeah.
3rd place. And
It's a lot.
Jeffrey is only 4 pins behind Stu.
Yeah.
And Richie Teese is 10 pins behind Stu. Tanner Spacey he is not much, 16, 23 pins behind.
If you look, the top 5, I think
Yeah.
top 5 maybe. I would only think the top 5.
Well, normally
Are
this
in-
is 100.
are in the
Between
hunt, I would
6
say.
and 1 is more than 100 difference. So I don't think so. Dome goes down to 6 or something like that. I don't think so at this moment.
Richie started with a double. He needs a few more of them to get back in contention.
There we go to Richie.
Turkey for Richie. Good start. Interesting question from Sean N, asking me if I enjoy being left-handed. How much time have you got? It can be an advantage sometimes, it can be a disadvantage. Yeah, I could spend a lot of time talking about it, but I wouldn't want to bore people, to be honest. you know, in the past it's been an advantage. They've changed the patterns, you know, how they address the patterns in Europe and, you know, generally throughout the world. And the evolution of the game as well, with balls, technology, everything has, you know, has changed, just changed how the game is played.
Yeah.
Completely. I mean, ball technology now is it's ridiculous how many balls come out, how many new bowling balls. Cover stocks have gotten stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yeah, what do you think about that? That the cover stocks are stronger and stronger? Don't you think all the lane maintenance guys has to put more oil on the lane?
Well, there's, you know, I had this discussion with Frank and the lane guy here for Kegel, was saying about, in the past, you know, I've talked to him about every ball that comes out, you know, you have this new high performance ball that hooks 3 more boards than the next high performance ball, and then 2 months later they'll bring another one out that hooks 3 or 4 more boards than this one, and there's only 39 boards on the lane, so you just run it. I don't know where it's going. I mean, the cover stocks have gotten a lot stronger. I don't think core technology has gotten a lot stronger, but has gotten any advanced. But the bowling if you look at the bowling balls now, a lot of balls that were the covers that were used on high performance balls 3 or 4 years ago are now used on the entry level balls now, or medium. And so you think the high performance balls, the covers on those balls should be stronger. I could be wrong, but from my experience, I don't tend to use asymmetrical stuff a lot. All the balls
Why don't you use asymmetrical?
I've found in the past that it's just too unpredictable for me.
Okay.
You know, I brought the Mystic Aura with me, which is asymmetrical, and when I threw it at home, it seemed pretty smooth, but here it was quite snappy. But when the patterns I bowl on at home don't really compare to anything like this. So in the past, I've thought, in my opinion, symmetrical balls have tend to be smoother.
Yeah.
Now, where I have to play the lane, I have to play it wider and straighter. Smoother balls should tend to be more in play than asymmetrical balls, because they smooth out the pattern. For me, being a lefty, I have to play, you know, on fresher lanes more, fresher conditions more. I have to play wide. I mean, the way I grew, the centre I grew up on, it kind of developed my style into more of a stand in and throw it out sort of pattern, because it was so dry. So on longer patterns, I really like longer patterns. You know, 45, 46 foot, I don't mind, because I can get in, I can slow hook it.
Yeah.
But on shorter patterns where I have to be wider and straighter, the way I grew up, I didn't bowl on patterns like that so much. Shorter patterns I really struggled on when they first came out. Longer patterns wasn't a problem. You know, it was weird. You know, I could, as a left, I don't mind moving right and trying to slow wheel it. You know, but that's, as a lefty, you very rarely get to play something like that.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, now you also got the shorter patterns. You have to play near the gutter.
Yeah.
What we see on the World Championship, it was you have to play on the second board or something. They break on board 2. What do you think about that? So far outside of the lane. It was in the past. It wasn't, isn't it?
Shorter patterns, you know, short and long patterns, they always seem to have they always have the same amount of oil on, but a longer pattern will be stretched longer.
Yeah.
So if you take a material and stretch it, you make it thinner. So the longer pattern, you stretch that long oil and it becomes thinner, but it's longer
Yeah. So that's why you use a higher RG ball for that.
to get the ball down the lane.
Yeah.
With a shorter pattern, there's more, the concentration of the oil is in a shorter space, a shorter distance.
Yeah.
So it's it's weird. In England, a lot of people have a misconception that short is dry, but it's not.
It's not.
It's short. It's not dry. It's just short, and you have to attack the lane in a way that's conducive to that pattern.
Yeah.
And shorter patterns tend to be a lot wider, so the pattern's flatter all the way till, say, board 5, and then it drops down. So if you start playing on a pattern that's that length and try and play a second arrow, you're essentially bowling on a flat pattern. You have to play that so wide because you have to play a break point that's nearer to yourself, rather than a longer pattern where you play a break point that's nearer to the pins.
Yeah.
That's where balls that hook more down lane, higher IG balls, will come into play.
Yeah.
You don't want a ball that's going to hook so much at the back end on a short
A
pattern.
lot of our viewers, I think that you need really, what I tell you, a stronger ball for the longer patterns. But I think it's only when it's only a very, very high volume, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily need strong balls. I've used shinier balls. Victory Road, High Road Pearl on long oil patterns, because the ball has to get through the front part of the lane.
Yeah.
And balls like a Victory Road, that ball gets through the front part of the lane so much cleaner than anything else I've thrown. And the High Road Pearl is similar. The High Road Pearl is essentially a T Road Pearl in a different colour. When you're playing a break point that's closer to the pocket, you need something that's going to be that's going to get down the lane and going to be more responsive down lane. You don't necessarily need to use a strong ball with surface. This is the whole thing about pattern management as well. If you start on a long oil pattern in practice and there's 4 of you playing the right part of the lane, you can develop that part of the lane to make it so much easier than what it would be on the fresh. That's one thing that you can't do on the left side, and the one thing we have to really...
Yeah, it depends how many lefties there are.
Well, yeah.
But normally...
I'm so used to just practicing. I don't really try and manage the lane because I don't think I can affect it as much. I'm not a high rev guy, and if I bowl, if I try and manage the pattern the first game and then move wherever I have to move, 2 pairs, 3 pairs, 3 lanes, I'm back onto fresh.
Yeah.
So I've just got to adjust everything else, adjust everything.
Okay, when you start to throw ball, your first ball, what's your focus you used on the lane, Maybe some viewers want to know that. How do you focus? Where do you look at?
I actually just look at the foul line.
That's great.
If anyone's ever seen Wes Malott bowl, that's the nearest thing I would say that I bowl. Wes looks at the foul line. He doesn't look at an arrow. He doesn't have a focal point, or say the arrow. He'll probably look at the break point and work back, and then say, right, I want to throw the ball in that direction. And that's just how I've grown up to bowl. No one ever told me to look at the arrows, which is weird because that's what the arrows are there for. Take the arrows out of the game and that'd be great.
It depends also, because some guys are looking more farther on the lanes when they throw the ball. They're looking at the break.
Yeah, people look at the break point, people look at the pins, some people look at the arrows, some people look at the dots. I look at the foul line. I don't really focus on the foul line though. I just look down, and I've tried looking at the arrows, but because I only tried starting to look at tried to start looking at it when after I'd been bowling for 10-15 years, and it just felt so awkward to me.
Yeah.
Having to put my head in a different angle or focus my eyes on, you know, I had to look further up, and I just couldn't throw the ball properly. I just kept dropping it off my hand. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
And it just felt strange to me. So I've just grown up by looking at the foul line. That's the best thing I can describe it.
Yeah. And your spare game, how do you play your spare game? Maybe for the young guys looking, what's the best way to do your spare game? Is it with hook?
Oh no, well for me, anything that's, if I leave anything left of the head pin, I'll throw straight. I'll stand on the right side and throw it straight. I have a pretty straight swing.
Yeah.
My swing is pretty straight from, you know, backswing to. So where I throw it, it's gonna. You know, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, my spare game is probably one of my strengths.
Yeah.
So for me, you know, left-hand side spares, I can use a reactive ball and just flatten the ball out, and it can go pretty straight. It might hook a little bit, but not a lot. I'll always take a spare ball with me, or a ball that I know that isn't going to hook.
So every time, every tournament, wherever you go, you use a plastic ball?
Plastic or urethane.
Okay.
I mean, I brought the Supernatural with me.
Yeah.
I thought, well, initially I thought I probably won't need to use it as a first ball, but as a spare ball, if I can flatten the ball off, which I know I can, and I can throw it, because I do that with my spare ball as well. I don't come round the ball at all. I know I can throw it straight, so I was pretty confident about using it for spares.
Yeah.
It just turned out that I used it in
go,
qualifying.
yeah, if you go and play on the shorter pattern, then you definitely use polyester ball.
Maybe not. I mean, I might even use the same ball I use for strikes. I would probably, the one difference I would find is on the right hand side, I normally, say for a 10 pin or a 10 pin, yeah, say a 10 pin, I would generally hook at it. I would go from the left side diagonally towards the 10 pin. Now on short patterns, it's difficult to judge where you have to throw it because it can hook so much down lane. So I would throw a spare ball for that. That's the only difference. I'd say Richie is on for a 268 game if he strikes out the 10th here. That would put him back in contention. Do you know what Dom had?
Oh no, it's the Dom, yeah, he's now on 2003 in 10th frame, first strike.
So yeah, it's not a massive game.
Mika has a low game. Mika is now on 1898 and he throws strike. Yeah.
You have a pen?
No, I don't have actually.
You need to find a pen and get these scores written down.
See, or we can find somebody who have a pen. No, not yet.
Stu said that Richie's probably going to be in second after this game. He's struck in the 10th, so he's minimum 250 pace. Another strike would be 260. 268 if he strikes out. Dominic's just gone up and struck.
So let's see Richie, how he's coming.
He likes it. Yep,
yeah,
flush 10.
Shot. One's trying to go for 268. Yeah, I think he's second.
Mats is on for a good game as well. 238 if he strikes in the
If he strikes now,
fill.
yeah. He's on 1893.
He's a long way behind, but you know, does prize money go up in each place?
Yeah,
here?
if you, I thought it was every place 100 more.
Yeah.
Till place 8 something.
So he's still, you know.
Yeah.
He left the 4 pin there, but 237. Still a good game.
Richie Tees seems good again. Oh, it's 10 pin.
Well, good time to leave it.
Yeah.
257 there for Richie. That's put him well in contention.
Yeah, 1973 pins. Jimmy Raves, we can see here, 1858. And Tanner Spacey is now 1895. And a strike, first strike in the 10th. And he's on a double. Strike in the 9th and the 10th. So let's see. Oh, he can strike out in this game. But he will be definitely also in the 1900s. We see for me Alex de Vries, 1861. Michael Cousins, 1887. Richie Tees, 1973. Mika is on 1918. No. Not a good shot for Tanner. Tanner throws 6. Nico Tiempont is on 1804. Mark Jacobs, 1838. Good spare from Tanner. That makes 218, 1911. Okay, the score updates will be coming soon. Now we're going to game 6, the last game.
Well, hopefully,
and then we can see
everyone who's in contention. That's quite close to us. Richie's on that. Richie's on 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Mika. Oh, Dom's on the end pair, so it's not easy for us to see.
No, we cannot go there with the camera. Maybe I can change the camera angle a little bit, but we have to wait for the score update, and then I try.
Mika's on 9
to
and 10.
see how we can do. Change for the cam.
Oh. Miss 5 pin for Nico. You won't be happy with that. Well, we have the score updates.
Okay.
Dominic Barrett. So 2023. Richie Tees back up to 2nd. He is exactly 50 pins behind Dom. Jeffrey van der Wacker, another 65 down on 1918. Mika on the same score on 1918. He had 163 last game. Tanner Spacey, another 7 pins back on 1911. Mats Maggie in 6th place on 1902.
Yeah.
Stuart Williams in 7th on 1896. Michael Cousins, 1887. Alex de Vries in 9th with 1861. Jimmy Raves in 10th with 1858. Mark Jacobs dropped down a lot with a 157 last game on 1838. And Nico Tiempont in bringing up the rear again on 1804. So essentially, I would say 2 people. It's between Dom and Richie.
Dom and Richie, where they are. Dominic is on.
Where's your money?
My money. Yeah, I said Mika, but
well,
he's too far.
Yeah, I think he's too far now.
No, he won't make it. It's between Dom and Richie.
Dom and Richie.
Yeah.
I would.
Okay, where they are.
The smart money is on Dom.
Richie is in front of us, so that's okay. We can put the camera on there. We put the camera on Mika and Richie. So I'll be.
We just have Marco adjusting the camera here so we can get Dom on the live stream. Assuming that Dom and Richie are the only two left who are really in contention to win, so if we can get Dom on the live stream, that would be a big help. Seven pin for Dom. Did you see what?
Okay.
Did you see what Dom had to start?
No, not really. No, I was.
You were over there.
Yeah, but I changed the camera
I
angles.
know. I was telling everyone.
Okay, let's
I'm guessing
see.
he's gone. He had spare in the second.
He's
spare
Dom Barrett
and spare in the third. So he's probably on pacing 190 plus.
Yeah.
Richie's got 10 pins back on him at the moment. He started with a double. He's just up in the third frame. And struck again for 3 in a row. So he's making a move. I'll say the smart money is on Dom, but you know, it'd be nice for Richie to win. You know, he's put his money where his mouth is, and he's come out to these events.
Yeah.
And you know, I commend him for that. It's very difficult to come out here and to commit to spending this amount of money on these events. Same with Ray. You know, Ray's done the same. Ray has, you know, the commitments at home at the moment. So, but Richie's been bowling pretty well in Europe. He's had 2 or 3 good finishes this year. It'll be nice for him to win a tournament. Give him a bit of backing that he needs. Dom again leaves a single pin, a 2 pin.
Dominic is on spare, strike, spare, spare, and 9.
Dom takes out the 2 pin for another spare.
And now Richie, frame 4. Yep.
That's it, light and strikes for 4 in a row. I'm sorry, spare 3 in a row.
290 schedule.
Yep. So he's got 20 pins back.
Yeah.
On Dom.
Here we see the replay. Richie tees.
The carry is very strange in this centre. It's you have to kind of keep the pins low and on the deck. In my experience, anyway.
Strike for Dom.
Yep. 10 back again.
Maybe there's some questions for you in the chat.
Not recently, no. Don't be shy.
Yeah, ask in the chat.
Anything.
It's your last chance at the last game.
As long as it's not too personal.
Well, 10 as space. He starts with front 4 on lanes 9 and 10.
He's actually throwing the ball on the left lane as if he's in front of the ball return. He's taking 3 steps on the left lane.
Yeah.
But he has the whole lane to play with, so I don't. Maybe he's happy doing that. I don't know. I'm not a righty, so I never get in front of the board.
Dom leaves 9-pin.
High 9-pin for Dom. Richie up and strikes again for 4 in a row.
So now Richie is really coming close now. He's really close.
He's less than 20 back now.
Yeah.
Lane is Jeffrey on?
Jeffrey van der Wakker is on.
Is he?
Oh, I have to see. I think he's the same lane as Stu. 11 and 12.
Mika just split there. Just looking at the third place possibilities.
Yeah, that's the third place. It's
dead.
Jeffrey and Mika exactly the same score.
Yeah.
Tanner got 19-11, is 7 pins behind, and Mats Maggi is only 16 behind them.
So top
and
third place is also
Stu Williams also could be third place because he's I have to calculate, 22 pins behind those two guys on the third place. So the third place, I think it's very, very interesting because it's in 4 or 5 players. And first place is between 2 players in this field. Richie Tees or Dom Barrett.
Dom still has to shoot his spare. I would expect him to pick it up, to be honest. Richie just setting up now for his 6th frame. Dom spares.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Again.
Little wide by Richie, but he gets away with it and another strike. Less.
Here, there's the replay.
Very close now. If you got a look, it's always good when you have a look like that.
Well, he's Stu Williams, and he's also right now in this game because front 3 spare
Another
and
strike.
Yeah, 3 bagger, so he can possibly make 279, and that will bring him. I think if he throws 279 for sure, then he's third. Yeah, then he's third position.
I think he still has to rely on other people to.
Yeah.
270. If he has 279, he would be
third place, because his opponents at this moment. You see, Mika got a spare and open frame.
Mark Jacobs still throwing pretty wide and straight.
Yeah.
And very against the grain. Everyone else is deep inside. Richie up again. And
Yeah,
another strike.
good shot. And he's still in the running for 290. And now I think, Dominic.
Dom has left us 10 pin there.
At this moment, let's see.
No, he hasn't gone up yet.
Richie is on 21.43 and Dom Barrett now is on 21.71. Yeah, he's on 21.71, frame 8. And Richie is in the 7th frame.
Dom.
So if Richie strikes now, I think it's only a few pins between them.
I think it's pretty much
less
level
than 10,
now.
I think.
It's pretty much level now, I think. It's 50 pins before. Has Dom doubled, or is he still?
No, he's
on 190. Is he still?
Yeah, he's
clean?
on double. He's on double now.
He's on double now.
In the 9th frame, he's a double now in the 9th frame. But let's say if Richie does the same, if he doubles now, then Richie is on top. That is for sure.
Oh yeah, Richie. I think he's a frame behind, so he can max out for 290.
Dom Barrett.
Dom. Ooh,
10
ring
pin
10
in
for
10.
Dom.
So now there is a big chance for Richie Thiessen and from England to win this. It's really a chance now. He got to strike. He got to strike the first one.
This is a big shot for, for Richie. Likes it.
Oh, solid
ring
9.
9-pin.
Oh
good
my
shot.
God. Let's see the solid 9 again. There comes the ball.
And it's just a little bit high. Fraction high. But he threw it good and he did like the shot.
Yeah. Dom, make the spare.
Dom spares the 10-pin. Let me just see what Dom can shoot.
And spare for Richie. Okay, Paul. Paul, what do you got? Dom Barrett.
207 for Dom.
And he finished?
Well, there were 50 pins behind, so Dom had 22.30. Richie has to beat Dom by 50 pins, so he needs 257. Because he'll win on a higher last game. And he's on 240 pace, so he needs another double. I think. Was that a 6-bagger he had? Yeah. So he's on 240. So he needs. He's still not out of it. Or is he?
He's on 199.
It depends.
He can get 70 pins.
Yeah, this is still a big frame. He needs at least a 9. Yeah.
It's a 10 count.
So if
now he's really close. He is so close now.
He needs strike and
we need to know the total score from Dom. What's Dom's total score?
22.30.
22.30.
So
okay.
So Richie needs 257.
So if he throws spare,
strike 9 spare would do it.
Yeah.
No, strike 8 spare. Is he on 259 pace?
He needs a strike.
Strike 9 spare. Strike 8 spare.
He needs a strike.
He needs a strike first shot. Yeah.
Yeah. It must strike. If he strike, he can get 50 more than now. So that will make 21.42. So he needs a strike.
Yeah, I would say this next shot is his biggest shot of his bowling career.
Yeah. It could be his first title, eh?
It will be his first title if it is.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, your attention.
I'm sure he knows this as well.
Yeah.
He'll know the score.
Sometimes you feel that, you know, even if you don't look at the scores, you feel it.
He knows.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll know.
Well, guy, come on. Only a strike, and then you're really close to your first victory. There we go. There we go. Oh, it's a 10-pin. Oh, my God.
That was a good shot. Nothing else he could have done there.
No. And he can make, no.
248. 249. 249.
22, 21.
If he spares and strikes, he loses by a pin.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
so
just the count.
Unbelievable. It was really a good shot.
I know. Maybe a little bit longer before it hooked.
Yeah.
It didn't seem to check up it just at the right point.
Let's see the last shot of Richie in slow motion. While he took the spare. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he knows. He knows what he needed. But it's a good performance by Richie this week. He's been solid all week. bowled well in qualifying. One entry.
Well, finally, it is the best result ever in an E.B.T. so far.
I'm sure he'd have liked. I'm sure he'd have wanted to win though.
Of course. And this was the shot he needed before. Well, Richie T's finished 249, 2,222. You see his reaction, Paul? He knew it. He knew it.
Yeah, I know.
Stu came to him. The
yeah.
first thing he say was a word with 4 letters. He know which word. You can guess that. But he knew it.
He knew.
Okay, Don Barrett wins Chandra Open 2013. And second place is Richie T's England. And now we have to look who is in third position. 2140 for Stu, 2138 for Jeffrey.
Mika?
No, Mika cost 2110. So Stu.
It's Tanner. Where's Tanner?
Tanner is on 2135. So Tanner needs 6. Tanner needs 6 now to count.
To be
He
third.
need a 6 count for third place.
Ooh, I would bet.
He will do.
I think he
will do. He will do. Yeah, it's okay. I see. Yeah, Tanner Spacey is on third position, and fourth place is Stu Williams.
Yeah.
Fifth place Jeffrey van der Wakker, and sixth place is I think Mika Conviniemi. And yeah, that's our top 6. So our first Dutchman is. We find it back, 5th place, Jeffrey van der Wakker, the best Dutchman in this tournament. Okay, that's it. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the stream. And stay tuned, because we're coming back for the prize fund.